1/2015, and we are live in the city of Detroit. I was off. I've been off. I've been on vacation, and we're going to talk about that vacation here in a minute or two. Yes, sir. I'm still on my surprising work week, which is 4 days, Monday through Thursday. I announced that before. And then Monday through Thursday at 10 a.m. on Monday, my phone is on for questions, answers, and orders, and whatever you may have in mind. And then Thursday at 6 p.m., I turn my work phone off. Now, the number that you can get in touch with me in that period of time is area code 313-656-7283. I'll say it again, area code 313-656-7283. Okay, we have a pretty daggum good show today. And what I'm going to talk about today is China. I went on my vacation. I went to China. I know you probably laugh and want to know what the hell that brother doing in China. Well, I'm telling you, it was a exploratory visit. We had a planned tour, and from the tour we went on a visitation spree. And I'm going to say it like it is, a visitation spree. Every day we started at 8 o'clock, approximately 8 o'clock, right after breakfast, 8 o'clock. And from there, we went on the tour. Breakfast was a wake-up call was 6:30. Breakfast started, 6:15 rather, 6 o'clock, 6:15. Breakfast started at 6:30. And we had between 6:30 and 8 o'clock to eat, prepare, get your gear set, and be down in the lobby ready to take off for the tour of the day. I want you to understand and know that that was one of the greatest tours. I've been on a lot of vacations, but thus far, China beats everything I've seen. Yes, China beats it all. Now, the reason that China beats it all, the first reason rather, is because the United States has literally lied about China. Everything you think you know about China is totally incorrect. Totally incorrect. I can't say it any more than that. Totally incorrect. Okay? So with that, I want to tell you that we had such a wonderful time. I haven't had a chance to get all the pictures. I'm going to start putting them on my website, so we'll all have information in regards to it. But I was thinking all the way back that the best way, I asked questions over there. Does anyone in my group, we had 29 visitors, tourists in our group, and they were from the UK, they were from Scotland, they were from, well, when I say UK, they were from different parts of London, Wales, and a couple of more. I don't know. And you know, they got an accent also. If you don't listen carefully, you don't know what the hell they talk about. They use a lot of terms that you never heard of before. Sure. And slang also. And it was a surprise. I can feel what Malcolm felt when he came back from the Middle East. Everything you've been taught is a bare-faced, a damn lie. I used to use that term, with the pen, they could trick us with that pen. Nah. They intentionally teach us the ignoramus stuff. And blacks have been completely, what can I say, fantasized, that's a good word, abroad. They create the blackies that they want to express. Because you got to remember that there were 5 countries that voted against indigenousness ever since the United Nations started, 1945, 1948. The first one on the list was United States. Then you had Australia, New Zealand, Canada. That's 4. And there was one more. And right now it slips my memory. But as of today, all countries have supported the Declaration of the Indigenous Peoples of the Earth. Obama, one of his first acts during his first term was to recognize indigenousness for United States. So they put United States on the list of indigenous peoples. Very, very interesting what they have done. Very, very interesting what they've done. Now, let's get back to some real McCoy stuff. I was searching for information, and it dawned on me that Marco Polo, I wonder how many people know about Marco Polo. Marco Polo, and I couldn't remember what he had done until I got to my computer. But Marco Polo, when I was in school, they taught you that Marco Polo was the first, or they led you to believe, he was the first individual to go into China and explore, and took all the knowledge of the Far East back to Europe. That brother had to have a hell of a head to put all that crap in his head. But I looked up Marco Polo, and I discovered in hindsight that Marco Polo was an Italian merchant traveler whose travels are recorded in the Book of Marvels of the World, also known as the Travels of Marco Polo, 1300 AD, a book that introduced Europeans to Central Asia and China. That's very important. But United States, in their writings, introduced us, and I can only talk about us, meaning blacks, to China through Marco Polo. Now remember, when you write certain things, it's your version of what you see. That's very important. That's why the Bible is, to me, ain't worth a plug nickel, but I understand why y'all love it. But they tell you right in the first page, you open up the book, it says King James Version. And then all of you swear that it's the Word of God. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard of in my life. However, it works, especially when you're dealing with ignorant people. And I'm not calling you ignorant as a negative. I'm calling you ignorant as you don't know. You're not in the know, K-N-O-W. You're not in the know. So they can almost teach you anything they want you to have, especially if they're going to get you as a babe in your mama's arms. As soon as you get here, the toys, the TV, the beds, everything is all geared to Western lifestyle. Your first book that you pick up that the teacher gives you, got that Mary jumped over a stick and got that damn dog named Spot, Johnny, all that European trash that they teach you. That begins the brainwash We need to wake up just as to what's happening to us. We'll never be free. The process, the studies, the direction of Black America is on a dead-end route. Dead end. And all they do, the Europeans, is plug this dead-end route to give you hope that you'll be free one day. Then when you get up in the ages of 50 and retire, your attitude begins to change, and you'll say things like, the hell with it. I was born a Negro. I've lived a Negro. I'm going to die a Negro. All that left-handed bullshit is what it is. Because you're too damn lazy. You're too stupid to ask one question. Who am I? Who am I? That's all you got to ask. So we got this cat, this guy, this person from Italy. He learned the mercantile trade from his father and his uncle, Niccolo and Morfeo, who traveled through Asia and met the Kublai Khan, one of the great Chinese emperors, warlords, in 1269. They returned to Venice to meet Marco for the first time. That was a nephew and a son. So the three of them embarked on an epic journey to Asia, returning after 24 years to find Venice at war with Genoa. Never heard of that, Genoa. Marco was imprisoned and dictated his story to a cellmate. Because of the war, he was arrested. They don't go into details. He was released in 1299. So we're talking about returning after 24 years. I don't know. With 4 and 9 is 13, 80. He was approximately 10 years in prison. But he became a wealthy merchant, married, and had 3 children. He died in 1324. And was buried in the church at San Lorenzo in Venice. Marco Polo. And notice, remember the name of the program I just put in there, Ron March versus Marco Polo versus Ron March, are the dynasties of China and the Olmec. And I'll explain that. Marco was not the first European to reach China, but he was the first to leave a detailed chronological chronicle of his experiences. I plan on doing that as soon as I can figure out how to write. I got all the tools. I just need to get busy. This book inspired Christopher Columbus and many other travelers to go abroad to see what Marco was talking about. I hope my programs from now on will encourage you to take trips. Notice I went to Red China, communist China. Didn't have a problem in the world. None. This is a substantial literature based on Polo's writings. He also influenced European cartography and leading to the introduction of the maps of the Far East. Now, when we arrived in Shanghai, was that the first day? No. When we arrived in Shanghai, we stayed in Shanghai 3 days. We went to Xi'an, X-H-I-N-A, Xi'an. We went to Xi'an for 3 days, and then we ended up in Beijing for 3 days. Florida, I can't remember. I can't even tell you where we went. But we saw all the dynasties and all of the in Shanghai. That's when I rode on the fastest train in the world. The fastest train in the world that was powered by magnets. that baby went 431 kilometers an hour. That's about 360 miles an hour. Unbelievable. It's got one route right now, and it's got two sets of tracks. There's two trains, one always going and one's always coming. And it runs a certain time of day. And it runs from downtown Shanghai to the airport, which is approximately 35 miles. You would not guess how long it took us to go 35 miles. You want to take a guess, Andre?
30 minutes.
Shit. 7 minutes. Boom! Yeah, I'm telling it to you. I don't care if you believe it or not. I'm telling you what happened. When the two trains pass each other, the guide and all the people of Shanghai know how to watch the kilometer meter, because when it gets to a certain speed from a standstill, the other train will pass. And so they told us to watch and listen. So we didn't know what to do. We looking and watching, and all of a sudden it was a sound like a atomic, not atomic, it was a jet. What does jets do when they kick in the afterburners?
Boom.
Yes, yes. Everybody screamed. What the hell? And that's all you had. You didn't see nothing. You just heard it. So once we got to the airport and we got off, and then you get back on, then we went back. All of that took about, in viewing all the scenery from each end. You couldn't do nothing in the middle. The train station, let's call it, in Shanghai, and then the airport train station. They got murals, pictures, all types of things. It took about an hour to do the whole program. So we got back on the train in the airport. Now, it was 28 of us in our group, but there was people getting off work, and it was approximately 6 cars made onto this thing, made like a spaceship. And when that baby took off coming back, they reminded us, you watch the speedometer, and when it reaches a certain point, that other train's going to pass. So this time she counted 10, 9, 8. No, she said 5, 4, 3, 2. Wow! Bam! That was it. Everybody just, it was amazing. It was amazing. It's the only train that's ran by magnets, and it's the fastest train in the world. Listen to this. The cities that we went to 3 cities. Like I told you, flew into Shanghai, left Shanghai and went to Xi'an, and then from Xi'an we went to Beijing. Listen to this population. Shanghai, 28 million people in a city. 28 million. Bumper to bumper, sidewalks full, bicycles, scooters, bumper to bumper. You've never seen anything like it. Everybody's quiet. Everybody's peaceful. When they get in the cars, nobody pays attention to speed limits. But you can only go as fast as the traffic goes. All police cars, listen to this one, Andre. All police cars turn on their flashes 24/7, only to let you know that they're police if you need them. Nobody gives them any respect.
I'm not surprised.
No.
Some things never change.
I'm telling you, it's I've never seen anything like it. I characterize China and its 1.4 billion population of the country I can categorize them in three categories. When I say 1.4 billion, I'm also talking three categories, all of them, not one, all of them. Okay? Now listen to this. It's what I did. Just in trying to explain what I saw. All senior citizens, they do the same thing. 1.4 billion. They get up in the morning, they're in the street by 7 o'clock on the a.m. All senior citizens that can walk, that are ambulatory. They go to the park. They walk to a park. There's always a park built within walking distance. They go to the park. They exercise. They play badminton. They have games that they play. They do unified calisthenics. I'm talking senior citizens of 1.4 billion. Never seen anything like it. By the time we was on the road, because I told you we left the hotels, because every time we moved, we flew. We flew into Shanghai, we flew into Xi'an, we flew into Beijing. And every time we was on the same schedule. Wake up call at 7:30. Breakfast started at 6:30, so they'd wake you up anywhere from 5:45 to 7 o'clock, depending on how early we had to leave. We were out of the hotels every day by 8 o'clock on the a.m. When we got out in the street to get on the bus to go to our sites, we saw seniors all over the place. And I mean seniors. Unbelievable. Now, the weather. The weather is in centigrade. I wonder if I can look up 100 degrees Fahrenheit versus 100 degrees centigrade to try and figure out when you come back. Yep. I'm going to try and look that up because I don't know centigrade. You know, I'm smart, but I ain't that damn smart. I didn't know nothing about no centigrade. But I can tell you this. The temperature in the 9 days that I was in China varied from 8 below zero to 11 above zero. That's it. 8 below. Now remember, we're talking centigrade. Gotta do it now? Okay. All right.
Keep talking for a couple more minutes.
All right, let me know when you're ready. We're going to have to take a quick break here in a minute for AR. Yep. AR. So we'll if I do, I'll let you know, but I'm definitely coming right back. Okay? So, I'm telling you, the weather. The weather was, like I said, anywhere from 8 below zero to 11 above zero, which made it in centigrade. So we're going to do some Googling on this centigrade versus Fahrenheit. Maybe we can get a pretty decent, I might get fancy here and be able to do it. Let me see what I can do here real quick. Well, our engineers is working on our sound to make sure we don't have feedback. Yep. So, let me let them do this. Let me see. Yep. Centigrade versus Fahrenheit. See if they'll give me a scale. Centigrade versus to Fahrenheit. Okay. What's the question? How do you read it? Let's see what comes up. like I told you, just that centigrade, convert, centigrade. There you go. That ought to be the one. Still getting it.
Yeah, I'll pull it up. Don't worry about it.
All right. I'm gonna get out. We're gonna have in the United States rain probably 300 days a year, and cloudy the rest of the 65. That there's a psychological effect on the people. You have to be a certain type of person to live under those types of nature conditions, you know. And it's important that you realize that, because if you go in there, you know, you don't. I don't never go in with a negative mind. I always go in looking for something looking positive. Okay, and normally I find it. So it's very important that you do that. I'm getting the feedback. I'm getting the echo. Yep. Testing. I kind of hear it, but I don't. Testing. I don't hear it at all. Okay. Now, where was I? Talking about the sky, the weather. It was cold. And we had our long johns, our overcoats. I had my military boots that I purchased. And we was out there in the cold. Now, some of the sites I remember offhand that historically I knew about. Number one was Tiananmen Square. Tiananmen Square was in that village of Xi'an. Now, when you get to Xi'an, a lot of the world sites that you know about China is in Xi'an. And Xi'an, the population is 8 million people in Xi'an. 8 million. Shanghai was 28 million, and Xi'an was 8 million. You trying to get one? Yep. What about the lookup? Fahrenheit. Yep. Okay. All right. Now, in Xi'an, you have Tiananmen Square. And I believe it's in Xi'an. I can't remember where it was. When I get my films out and get all my pictures, and I can give you a better update. So when I get it all together, I'll give you a part 2 on this presentation, because I'm not that. I just don't know. I saw so much, and I can't put it in the cities where it was. But we went to the Great Wall. I was working my way to tell you about that Great Wall. Now, I know the Great Wall is in Beijing, and I think that Tiananmen Square is in Beijing, and that's where they have the big revolution, the most recent revolution, when the government of China brought the tanks out. The United States made such an issue out of the government killing and destroying the people. I can't give you the year of Tiananmen Square. I think it was in the early 70s. But it was no different than what happened in Detroit with the military. They brought tanks out in Detroit. I was there in 67. The world is aware of the lies and misrepresentations of the United States. They created us abroad. And then they have these agents, these black agents, who will speak abroad and give the information to make the lie a reality. And once they gave us this so-called black president, we were really in a bind. Now, we can't say anything wrong, because in world news, all we have is black folks living good, very good over there. But believe you me, I knew about, and it was on the news, and I was asked by several Europeans from the UK about that police officer in Chicago that shot that boy 16 times while he was on the ground. You down? Oh, you're just looking at it from Beijing and him, yeah. See that?
Yeah, what did you say? What was the other one? Fahrenheit, and what was the other one?
Centigrade. Yeah. You see that C?
Mm-hmm.
That's centigrade.
Okay.
So see, if it's 30 centigrade, it's 54 Fahrenheit. 11 centigrade is 20
degrees.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep. And the highest I saw on the positive side was 8.
Wow.
So you know
it was about 18 degrees.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So if you get a negative, there's a negative there. And then you go across and try to find out. Centigrade is 24 temperature.
Negative.
So you see what I'm saying? A 9 is 15. It was cold. And in most of those areas, like Tenement Square, can you imagine 100 acres? It's nothing but a huge cement park. And it's got buildings on the outside of it, but you could put thousands. I don't care. You could put thousands of people in that park. Yeah. And then you got Forbidden City. You got the pagoda. I'm gonna tell you about that pagoda. It's if you ever get an opportunity to travel, especially out of the United States, you should go. Now, I'm not talking about the Caribbean, which are good travels, but those are really vacation type tourist stuff. I mean, and I guess I was on tourist stuff also, but vacation in that they were talking about down there, it's all commercialized down there. You see very little commercializations over there. All they doing is working every day and building every day. I never saw a single home over there. All the people in China live in either or. Got to tell you about the caves. They have ancient Chinese today that live in the mountains, in caves. Wow. Yes. And they choose to stay in the caves because the living expenses are so low. In the wintertime it's warm once you put the cover on the front, and in the summertime it's cool. They gave you a good explanation why they do that. And they come down out of the mountains to get their food, whatever they need, their essentials, and then they go back up into the mountains. We saw pictures of them. We saw little monograms and little statues of them, how they lived. But they lived the way the books taught us, like the horde, the horde, mountain hermits. Yep, live out there in the mountains. And I mean, alligators, because they're huge. I mean, them mountains are huge. And in order to get from Shanghai to Xi'an, you had to fly over the mountains. 2 hours to fly to Xi'an and an hour to fly to Beijing. Yep. I was excited. I guess you can tell by my voice. I was really excited. Really was. I went there with the intent of exploring import and export business, but it's not set up like that. You can't, I won't say you can't, but I didn't know how to deal with that. Now, if I make arrangements once I leave America and go there, then they will meet me who I want to deal with, and then they'll guide me where to go. I'm telling you, you could get lost in Shanghai and they'll never find you. 28 million people. And they're building skyscrapers. They call apartments, what do they call apartments? Flats. Yes, they do. They call apartments flats. And I mean, I can't tell you how many apartment buildings I saw. Huge. Huge. And some of them are in sections where they all look alike. And they are at least 40 or to 60 floors, and most of them have at least 10 elevators. And the living expense is very high to purchase. It's very high. Speaking of purchasing one, so that there are three categories of living in Shanghai, and I mentioned the seniors. I like to mention now the young adults who want to get married or in that age group of getting married. It's totally impossible to get married in China if you don't meet specified criteria. Everybody has to deal with this, not just seniors. Everyone deals with it. The girls know if they don't get chosen to be married by at least 29, their chances of getting married is zero. Now, the difficulty in getting married, and it's not, to them, it's not difficult, but to me, it's difficult. Number one, you got to have a job. Number two, you got to have an apartment. And number three, you got to have a vehicle. Everyone, every boy in China that wants to get married has to have those three things. Not nobody's no, they all know it. And from the time they're of a working age, they're moving to have it. So when they do meet the right girl, they'll have what they need, because they have to go to the family and ask for the hand of the girl, young lady. Now, she has to have a good education, a full education. She must be able to pay for the marriage, and the family must be able to have a party. The wedding, here you go, not a party, the wedding, which includes the party. Automobiles, so everybody can ride. Now, this ain't something that rich families, poor families, it ain't nothing like that. This is everybody. That's why they have the caste systems. The number one in the caste system is the government. You probably could never guess what number two was or is. It's the farmers. Farmers got power because they feed the people. They have a rank. If you're a farmer, you was in with Flynn. The third one is the builders, those contract workers. And last but not least are bankers and insurance programs. They hate them. I applauded when they said that. They hate them. But the bankers will hate you because most of the young men, they don't have all the things they need to get married, so they can go to the bank and get a collateral loan, I guess you could say. And some of those collateral loans, they can get upwards of 50 years to pay off. So if they buy these, they're flats, and ain't no foreclosure, they'll trot over there. But if they buy the flats and they're paying on them, as they get older, the children take over and they begin to pay to keep the flats. Now, the story about having children, you can't have children, that's a mutual understanding. That ain't something that the government said, do it or we'll shoot you. That ain't. Everything they taught you is just ass backwards. I'm telling you. People are very happy. Now, you can call them crazy and stupid if you want to, but I'm telling you, they're very happy. They don't have a problem with living over there. None. And most of the people we met have never been to America. They all said they would like to visit, but they don't have a problem with staying in China for the rest of their life. It was unbelievable. I did 9 days over there. Now that China Wall, that Great Wall, they got in Xi'an, they have a city wall, and they give you a little. We went there to give you a little taste of what the Great Wall was about. And I'm telling you now, it had nothing to do with that because it wasn't as big as. But you only talk about 8 million people. But when they built that Great Wall, they're talking about it wasn't 1.8, 1.4 billion then, but it was around 800 million back in the day. And they say that wall is long enough. If you stretch it out, you can bring it from the North Pole to the South Pole.
Wow.
It's the biggest thing you ever seen.
Wow.
Huge. And what they did in the mountain regions, because China's not flat land, they took this wall and just took it all through the mountains. You know, you got going back. I couldn't get an answer. They didn't know. Because as you went into different, what they call them, territories, districts, the village of that district started building it so they would be inside. Because they had big problems with the Mongolians and the Manchurians. They were warlike. So in order for them to live well or alive, they put this wall up to keep them out. And I'm telling you, you ain't going to come through that wall. You ain't going to, forget it. I don't care if you got a hand grenade and stuff. You ain't going to blow no hole in that big sucker. Because they said inside the wall is full of cement and stuff. It ain't like, crack a hole and you inside of no. Wait till you see it. Did you get a look at it? Did you get a look at the pictures while yet?
I've seen pictures of it, but I looked at it. You can't. It doesn't. I know
it don't give it. It don't give it to you. I'm gonna admit that they took us. See, you can't get. You can only get on the wall in certain areas, and they know where those areas are. So where we were, we got there early enough to be the first tourist bus to park. But once we unloaded and went to the lower ground level stuff, that huge parking lot filled up with buses. I just couldn't believe people taking vacation in the winter. They were everywhere. And they said in the summertime, you cannot even walk on the street. So many people. And 99% of them on the street, I guess the what they call them, the locals know when to come out and go in. But when it's summertime, when the vacationers come, they bumper to bumper.
How long do the people live?
Well, they said if you don't get married by 29, you're not going to get married. That's number one. Their looks and they get married as early as 11, 12, and 13 kids. So they start dying off early, like 50 and 60 as a senior citizen over there. So I can't answer it the way you ask it, But you can see them seniors. Like I told you, the seniors come out every morning, and they end up with overcoats and hats. And you go out with them. No, I did not. And I didn't get close so they couldn't snatch me into the group. I knew to stay away.
You touchy with them.
Yes. Yes. And another thing. Reconnecting now.
Okay, I can
All right.
I can hear you.
Yep. I'm back in. Yep. Okay. All right.
Damn blog talk.
Yep. That's the program that was in blog that's knocking us off. So I know to go over here. I need to get it. It should be at the bottom.
I'm going to be back up here tomorrow.
Okay. All right. Now, I want to talk about, when I mentioned Marco Polo, I wanted to save it to the last hour. We can take a break now, though. Let's take a break right now, and when we come back, I'm going to hook up the Olmec with the dynasties of China, which was very important. And remember, this program today is a preliminary discovery of China, because I haven't looked at all my film and all my notes, backups. So what I'm going to do is take a quick break, and when we come back, let me choose one here. Go Blues. Damn, I should have had it on.
Right back after these messages.
Yes, I will. We'll be right back. Logged in. Good enough. Okay, now, what are we going to do this time? Now, remember, this is nothing but preliminary. I just got back in last night in Detroit around 11 o'clock p.m. I left last Saturday at 10 o'clock a.m. and flew into Shanghai on Sunday. And we started all of our tours on Monday. The dates are not coming to me, but you can check it out. And we went from Sunday to Sunday, Monday to Monday type thing. We had 2 days of travel. So that gave us a good 9-10 days, something like that. And that one more, before we get into the Olmec, I want to tell you, good people, I want y'all to hear me clear on this. The world knows who we are. When I say we, let me just for conversational purposes say the American black man. The American black man. We know who we are. We got a caller calling in. You got to call in on the 718 number. All of our callers, you got to call in on the 718. I didn't give that number out, did I? 718-506-1864. Let me say it again. Area code 718. Calling in again. Let me see what's happening here. Yes, caller. You're calling the wrong number. Zaire, I see you out there. Zaire. You're calling in the wrong number. Call in 718. All right? Yep. I'm trying to explain to you that the world, they look at me and my son as if we were from another planet. Why does he keep calling the same number? Yes, Zaire. You calling the wrong number. Yep. He's calling in the wrong number. Yep. He finally got the message that time, I believe. Yep. Okay. They looked at us. We began to notice it the first day when we went out. They were just staring at us. Now, we're in a group of 29 individuals, 25 Caucasians, and 4 blacks. My son, his wife, and me and my wife. And or better, our son and his wife, and then his mama and me, his pappy. And they were staring. I mean, they couldn't stop. And I said to him, "Do you notice?" He said, "Yeah, they just looking like we come out of the zoo." I said, "Yeah, I don't know." So all of a sudden, as the day progressed, the staring never stopped. But what did begin was the people. All these people from around the world, especially from Asia and China. We're talking about outsiders. They wanted to take pictures with us. And they would just look, stare, walk up and they couldn't speak and they just put their hands up and you knew what they wanted. You just stand there and they get around you. And then when people begin to see that, I bet you I took at least 40 pictures while I was over there. I'm all over the world now. This mug is all over the world. Unbelievable. I'm telling you. Oh, they were so happy. They couldn't believe that we let them take pictures of us. They just come from everywhere. I feel like I'm in a cage, like a damn gorilla or something. Unbelievable. And I noticed, at least in our travels, I could probably count 10 other Americans. Anybody I saw black, I confronted. Now, I know black Egyptian and especially Hindu from India. I know they got that funny colored black. I ain't talking about them. I'm talking about showing up blacks. Every time I saw one, I'd stop them. Welcome, brother. Where you from? Type thing. And they were all having a good time. The men were catching the same look that we were. But we come to find out that they were all in the military, either stationed in Japan, which is a hop, skip, and a jump, or Korea, which is a hop, skip, and a jump. And they were taking these tours because they wanted to see Asia and the Far East before they came back to the States. And when we told them we was over there on vacation, they began to flip. What? Yeah, we come over here and take a look around, see what was up. Nobody could believe it. Blackies from the ghetto. Yeah, we had a lot of fun. But now, let me tell you the good news. The guides were telling us about the religions. Now, I learned for the first time that Buddhism is not a religion. Buddha taught them that God was within them each and every one. That's why Chinese are so superstitious, because anything that happens, they blame it on the God within. That's the best way I can explain it. So you have to pay your dues. So if you fall down the steps, you must have pissed somebody off. And you blame it on your God or your inner spirit, if you will, and then you do better. You ask for forgiveness, and whatever you think you did that caused it, or there had to be a reason, then you would not do it anymore. And that's what I found to be very strange, but that's in all of them. And I'm talking about the 1.4 billion. I feel like I met them all because they're so regimental in what they do. You know it had to come from ancient teachings. And I'm talking about, like you said, out of the 1.4 billion people in China, they, not me, estimate approximately 600 to 700 million are real Chinese. The rest of them are Chinese wannabes or foreign aliens. And they said that there's at least 55 nationalities in China. So you can take 2 of them out because of the Chinese, knowing they come from, I wish I could tell you these dynasties that they come from, but Yang is a big one and Han is a big one. And half the people that are real Chinese are either named Han, H-A-N, or Young, Y-O-N, Young, Y-O-N-G, I guess, Young, Han, or Young. I just saw it, listened to it, and understood it. But the rest of them, 53 nationalities, are scattered among the remaining, what can I say, 900 million people scattered. Yes. Now, they set their lives up or their history and up with knowledge of the dynasties. And this is when it gets quite interesting. The dynasties. The dynasties in China's history. It was rare for one dynasty to transition smoothly into the next, as it depicted in history timelines. Remember, I told you, when you study history, you got to be sure and set up timelines. But you got to know who you are, where you come from, and what timeline are you talking about. So dynasties were often established before the overthrow of the existing reign, or continued for a time after they had been defeated. For example, the conventional date of 1644 marks the year in which the Qin dynasty army replaced the preceding Ming, the Ming dynasty. So they got a funny way of expressing the Q and the X, so I ain't going to try to go into it. But the Qing replaced the Ming, according to the cycle of dynasties. However, the Qing dynasty was established in 1636 or even 1616, albeit under a different name. I ain't going there, but you just heard it. While the last Ming dynasty pretender was not deposed until 1663. Now, these were the wars that they had. They fought. That's why that Great Wall was set up. Because the outside Mongols from Mongolia and the Manchurians from Manchuria all tried to raid in on the Ming dynasty, the Qing dynasty. And they give you the years that they were in power, and at the same time they make it clear that the reigning periods of each always overlapped. In addition, China was divided for short periods in its history, with different regions being ruled by different groups. At times like these, there was not any single dynasty ruling a unified China. As a case in point, there is much dispute about the times in and after the Western Zhou period, Z-H-O-U. In the Chinese historical graphical tradition, each new dynasty would write the history of the dynasty which preceded it. These cycles were disputed and disrupted, however, when the Shi'aya revolution overthrew the Qin dynasty in favor of a republic. Even an attempt by Republicans to draft the history of the Qing was disrupted by the Chinese Civil War, which resulted in the division of China into the People's Republic of China, or mainland China, or the Republic of China on Taiwan. So I do know the People's Republic of China belonged to Mao, and the Republic of China belonged to Chiang Kai-shek. I remember that. Chiang Kai-shek. United States, or better yet, Western power set up Taiwan to try and offset or compete against the People's Republic of China. Now, the Qing dynasty, officially the Great Qing, also called the Empire of the Great Qing, on the Manchu dynasty, or the Manchu dynasty, was, let's see, where am I? Well, Manchu dynasty, I lost my place. Here you go. Was last imperial dynasty of China, ruling from 1644 to 1912, with a brief aborted restoration in 1917. It was preceded by the Ming Dynasty and succeeded the Republic of China. The two-dynasty multicultural empire lasted almost 3 centuries and formed the territory base for the modern Chinese state. Now, don't try to remember that. Go look it up for yourself. You just look up China's dynasties of China. Now, the Ming Dynasty of the Great Ming, we can clear this out, or the Great Ming. Oh, crap. I blew it. There we go. Yep. Okay. Also called the Empire of the Great Ming, was the ruling dynasty of China for 276 years, from 1368 to 1644, following the collapse of the Mongol-led Yuan dynasty. The Ming, described by some as one of the greatest eras of orderly. Oh man. You got a problem. No. I hope I can bring it all back up. There we go. Yep. Yeah, there we go. Whew, I thought I lost it. Okay, Ming Dynasty, following the collapse of the Yuan dynasty. The Ming, described by some as the greatest eras of orderly government and social stability in human history, Lord help them, was the last dynasty in China ruled by ethnic Han Chinese. I thought that Han was a tour of the Hun, but they say no, it's H-A-N rather than H-U-N. Although the primary capital of Beijing fell in 1644 to a rebellion led by a certain character, he soon established the Shun dynasty, soon replaced by the Manchu-led Qing dynasty. Regimes loyal to the throne of Ming, M-I-N-G, collectively called the Southern Ming, survived until 1616. And I just briefly went through that. We went to every one of these dynasties' reign. They left artifacts and monuments to indicate that they were there. Huge stuff, not small stuff. Huge. Most of them, they had prayer buildings. They had gardens. They had meeting houses. They sit on acres of land. Acres, anywhere from 500 acres to 1,500 acres, depending on the power and the size of the dynasty, the dynasty itself. It's unbelievable, and they know exactly where these places are. They, meaning the guides that took us there, they know exactly where to go, where to look, and how to find what they were looking for. Okay? Now, let me get back. Okay. Yep. All right. I got to go over here for a minute. Give me a second. because I want to talk about the Olmec. Alrighty. The rubber people. Yep. We cut this out. I know it's that little downtime, but hold on, just give me 1 second here to get this together. Okay. Now, I was really looking for my piece on the Olmec. When they started giving you dates, they told us that, there it is, God dog it. I just saw it. There it is. Okay. They told us that these dynasties of China that go back to 1500 to 2000 BC, before Christ. And remember that. We'll use 2,500 years before Christ. These dynasties was coming forward. Okay? When we got off the plane in the middle city, Xi'an, in the middle city, from the airport going to the hotel, the guide pointed out the dynasty that had ruled the longest in China, probably the Qing dynasty. He was speaking, and it was hard to understand. They had pretty good English, but it was difficult. He said, there's the dynasty, there's the burial memorial right there. And everybody looked, and they didn't see anything. He said, that mound right there. And when he said mound, it dawned on me, the mound builders. So I began to look at everything from my knowledge of the Olmec, which were the ancestors of the Ouachita Nation. And with all of the indigenous people. And what makes you indigenous? It means that you come from the land. You come out of the land. And I just told you that China, they got 2 families over there, and they make up approximately 5 to 700 million people in this huge 1.4 billion. They make up, they are indigenous. The remaining 8 to 900 million people are aliens, are immigrants that come in. Now listen carefully. When the United States of America, the bullshit, when they talk about the indigenous people of America, they never call them indigenous people. They call them Native Americans. Why? Because the Native American they're talking about is not the indigenous ones. Now, y'all need to know this. If you're going to set yourself free, you got to know who you are. You are the indigenous ones. You are the real Americans. They used a group of people that they could designate, known as, quote unquote, the American Indian, quote unquote, the Native American, and labeled him through a process known as the Dawes system. D-A-W-E-S, Dawes Roll, R-O-L-L. You need to look that up. R-O-L-L, Dawes Roll. Then they classified you in this Dawes Roll. They claim that the 5 tribes of America, that's how they hook up Indian, of a tribe. They said the 5 tribes of America was placed into the Dawes Roll because they chose the Native Americans who would convert their lifestyle into the Europeans. All you gotta do is look it up. Don't act like I'm making up. Just go look it up for yourself. And that's how they confuse the history of America. The Olmec was here not 2,500 years before. They were here 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 years before. I have an American book that talks about what they call them, the copper people. And they give the copper people 4,000 years before Christ, before BC. 4,000. So if you look up the Dynasty of China, you will see and note that they started after the Olmec. And all you got to do is look at the Olmec. I'm looking at one of them now. That sucker don't look like me. I don't know what to tell you. It looks like, we get this caller every time I'm on the air. I get this caller, and I think what they do unknowingly, they push button number 1 when they sign in, and like now I'm going to ask them, do they have any questions? I'm not going to get anything. Yes, caller, area code 202-777. Do you have a comment or question?
Peace, yes, hello? I do. Peace, can you hear me?
Okay, beautiful. Let me tell you
I did, in case some of the listeners didn't know, I did listen to your presentation that is about the dog's role. It's on YouTube. And the 5 civilized tribes, but I had a comment and a question together. I've only heard 2 people, Yafa Bey and Asir, the Duke of Tears, mention or talk about the term autochthonous, and Yafa Bey breaks it down to where, and I wanted to know how you see the word autochthon versus indigenous, and that's I yield the floor.
Yeah, well, hold on before you leave. I had never heard of it until I talked to the good brother out of Arizona, and I was just lost then as you are now, and I can't give you a good definition, but I don't know.
She broke it down, but it's really, I don't have it on cap to repeat to you, or I don't know it enough to repeat it, but if you get a moment to look it up, autochthonous versus indigenous, because of how they define indigenous, either in Black's Law Dictionary, something like that. But that was all.
Okay, but now what I'm trying to explain, I'm doing it from a layman's term. I ain't got all that big old college and all that stuff. I'm just trying to tell you what I know.
I love listening to your show because you do break it down, layman's terms. I like that.
Yes, that's all I know. And so I'm going to look that word up again, and when I do come, and maybe tomorrow, because I'm going to talk about this tomorrow with Beverly, and when I do, I'll have a better definition. But I think I'm into it as I'm talking about this breakdown as to who is indigenous, that you come out of the earth. Okay,
and in case, I'm sorry. In case, pardon me, in case cell phones are distorted or someone missed the word, I'm saying is autochthonous, A-U-T as in Tom. I think it's H-O-C-T-O-N-O-U-S, something in that order.
Yes, I know exactly what you're saying. When you said it, I knew what you was talking about. But
and I know sometimes.
Go ahead.
When we're on the phone, it's hard to understand. Sometimes just a word can make a difference in the statement. So I wanted to make sure I was clear for the listeners who may not have understood me. But thank you.
Well, you pronounce it the way I've heard it, so you're doing better than me. You're doing better than me.
Thank you very much.
All right.
Okay, peace.
Okay, sister, I appreciate you.
Appreciate you,
All right.
Heart.
All right. Thank you. All right. That good sister. I'm gonna deal with that word. She's right on. And I've heard the word, I've seen the word, and I can't break it down much more than what I'm doing, but I can relate to it and set it up. But I want to read this part because when he started talking about the mounds, and he said it just like I'm telling it to you, and my mind clicked. I said, damn, this is it. The mound builders. And see, they were there, and then even the teachings. Now listen to this carefully. I am not a religious person. I'm a spiritual person. I don't get hung up in religion. That causes wars and fighting. But no one on this earth can believe more in the Creator than me. And I work with my Creator on a 24/7 basis. I know what's right, what's wrong. I work with it. I massage it. I try and stay as close to the path of truth that I possibly can. And I think that's what makes me use the word quietly, successful, or people kind of lean and want me to help them out because I'm just, that type of guy, and I'll leave that alone. But as I look at that country, I could see what was taught to me, even the story of Yaqub that Elijah Muhammad brought to the world, the knowledge of to the world. It all started clicking. And as I was taught, the word Yaqub, being Islamic, is the same as Jacob, also the same as John. So when you read the Bible, you read what Jacob did, and you read what John of Revelation did. All of that's related to Yaqub. It's the same person. All they're the same. And when they talk about in the Bible of John in Revelation, it was a dream that John had. Who can explain a dream? That's why it's so powerful that Revelations in the Bible is so powerful. Because he was shown what had to be done or what was coming. And I'm just talking to you the way I was taught. And I don't go into it because I let it reveal itself. I don't go in there and try to jam and make you think I know more than you. That ain't none of your business what I know when it comes to that type of spiritual understanding. That's what I deal with from myself. And you're going to have to learn how to do it if you want to be free. Because you can forget a war. All you cats out there talking about we're going to get something and do something, y'all better give it up. That ain't going to work. And I have never been and never will be a part of any type, at this time from what I know, any part of anything like that organizing. Because that's not going to be successful. Because the physical plane of earth, the European has conquered. That's why his wars are so big. His armies are so big. And he carries a big stick, but he don't walk softly. He just carries a big stick. And if you don't agree, he bumps you off. So if you look at that from the reality, you know there's got to be a weakness there somewhere. And I believe that weakness is staying on the path of righteousness. And I'll leave that alone. Okay? But according to archaeologists who recently participated in an archaeological work in Mexico, one of the most ancient civilizations in the Americas, the Black Neolithic Olmec developed a calendar that goes back to about 3,113 years before Christ. That in itself, the calendar was set up prior to the dynasty over in the Far East. The archaeologists who appeared on the Art Bell show made that point. Now, let me just stop for a minute and tell you I am totally aware of Art Bell. I've met Art Bell. In 1997, listening to his shows, he set up, well, actually he started it in 1996. It was a late night talk show that came on Detroit time at 1 o'clock, and it would end around 5 o'clock every night, Monday through Friday. He would bring on some of the damnedest guests that you could ever imagine. Powerful dude, Art Bell. I met him because he set up a tour of civilization that was scheduled to leave America in 1997 for the Mediterranean. It was known as the Mediterranean Cruise. My wife and I signed up in 96 to go on the cruise. We made it. Woo! And just briefly, I can talk about that at another time, but that cruise had 8 protocols. Egypt, well, actually, we started in Athens, Greece. We flew from Detroit to New York, New York to Athens. My first trip abroad. Athens to Egypt, Egypt to Israel, Israel to Bethlehem, Bethlehem to the island of Patmos. That's where John of Revelation was exiled and where he wrote the so-called Revelations. Yaqub used the island to create what we know as the Caucasoids. From Patmos, we went to Italy, France, and back to Greece. We met the Pope in Italy. It was a total of 8. We didn't meet the Pope. We saw the Pope. It was a total of 8 protocols. And we went in the wintertime, just like I did this year. Because the wintertime is the cheapest time to go, but it wasn't as cold. You know, it's warm in the Middle East all the time. But you find the rich folks go in the winter months, and you know that type of thing. But his guest talked about all types of things, and we saw all of these things in the pyramids, and been in the pyramids, and went all the way everywhere Jesus, the Bella Rosa, for some of you religious individuals, the Bella Rosa is the trip that Jesus made when he was in the Holy Lands. We made that trip when we went to this thing. Okay? Now that's just the first paragraph. It's called the Olmec, the African Presence in Early America. Excerpt from a larger article by Paul A. Barton, B-A-R-T-O-N, Paul, middle initial A, last name Bart, B-A-R-T-O-N, Barton. It's called The Olmecs and African Presence in Early America. Now, they always want to throw you off. And let me say it again. I just said it once. America's the biggest, United States is the biggest piece of crap that you ever want to meet when it comes to honesty. They spread the word abroad that we are just so happy to have them over here on our land, and we just beg them never to leave us. That's the impression that they give the world. And they use Uncle Remus niggas and agents to support that damn lie. That's why I've always said that they had to get a black president soon, because the world don't believe it. They definitely do not believe what the United States says, but since they can't come in, that's why they're screaming now about immigration. I just came through immigration. And I'm telling you, that thing is so, oh man, I'm telling you, I don't know how you could possibly slip in through the immigration package they got set up. You got to know more than I saw. You get checked damn near 6 times, never get an opportunity. And they random check your luggage, open it up right where you're standing, carry-ons and otherwise. Oh, it's madness. Lines is 80,000 people in line coming in. They got a line set up for American citizens, well, they call them United States citizens, and they got lines set up for people that coming in to visit that's already received their visa and their green cards. Oh, man, I'm telling you. You got to see it to believe it. Well, this first paragraph is loaded with information because they, in order to make their lie work, that we come over on slave ships, there's a lot of things they had to change. And they had to use the lie of slave ships so that you would never know that this land is yours. The Olmec knew it. The copper people knew it. But remember, and I think I'll bring that tomorrow. Remember, when they started setting up the government of United States of America on the East Coast, they had rules. One of the rules was, do not let the Olmec, quote, watch it, unquote, Moors come into the 13 colonies. God, y'all better get this. The land is ours. Okay. So what they had to do, because they knew he was going to wake up this Olmec sooner or later, because they could not destroy these big old heads, huge heads. This is why I have my suspicions that Mount Rushmore that they named and labeled. Notice you never heard any history of Mount Rushmore. I wonder if somebody could call in here and tell me what they've heard of Mount Rushmore, in that there was a reason for them to do that. Lincoln had something to do with it. It was done during the 1860s, 1840s. Why did they do that? What purpose is a mountain of European presidents in no man's land? Now, if it was sitting in Grand Canyon or some area that's populated that you could go see it, it would be one thing. But to set it out in the no man's land, cities close to it, don't know what state it's in. So what was the purpose? I got a caller. Area code 314, Brother Zaire, 0440. How you doing, brother?
Hey, how you doing?
I'm good. How you?
Yeah, I wanted to also respond to your caller concerning the word autochthon. You can go you can look that up on any type of in any form of dictionary, or go on YafaBay.com and look that up with all her definitions called real definitions.
Okay.
When you look up the definition of autochthon, I'm gonna read it out for you. The autochthon means an original inhabitant of the land itself. Do you understand?
Yeah.
There's another word that's AU.
Yep.
Yeah. You hear me?
Yes.
AUTOCHTHON.
Let's do it again.
AUTO and
yep.
CH then THON.
And you pronounce it auto Shanhan?
No, autochthon. It's not. It don't sound exactly how it's spelled. Some of the letters are silent, so it's autochthon. or top
All right.
time. And the opposite of a top time, I did some further research. I knew about this word a couple of years ago. It's called a lot time. A lot time is the opposite of the word, which means emerging from other soil, which represent the Dutch people or the European.
Okay. And the other one also means your indigenous come out of the land. Is that right?
Yeah, the aboriginal inhabitant of the land itself. Means you're connected with the land. That's like one of the most important words that you can use over indigenous, native, and all that.
Yes.
It's like a primary word to really recognize who you are. As a matter of fact, with your contracts, dealing with private, and even your nationality, you want to use that word because it attaches you to the land. Remember, they use the law of the sea on you, the admiralty law.
Yep, and you don't want that. You want to be attached to the land.
That. Correct.
Wow. And
also,
go ahead.
You've been to China. You heard of the China, the IMO has classified their money, China money, as world recognized now.
Okay. Well, I know 100 yen you can buy for $15. I think it is. Yes. Because 78, put it this way, $78 you can get 500 yen. Because I was buying them by 500. You dig it? Yep.
Yeah, I hear you.
So that's approximately 7, and different places had different percentages. So we always bought it out of the hotel where you could get the highest yield on the American dollar. So $78 and some cents was what we used to buy 500 yen. 500 yen. So that's a good deal.
Yes, it is. And
you know what I mean?
also, people check the news. Obama also passing on another code that's going to change the classification of the sex on your Social Security card.
Okay. You're breaking up a little bit. I didn't hear that well.
I said Obama is changing the regulations on the Social Security card, which is changing your sex, meaning the transgenders are trying to be recognized as outside people besides the people of the land, or even in the generation. Yeah, it's called Champion of Change, and they estimated that it's over 700,000 transgenders, which is 0.2 to 0.3 on American soil.
Yeah, you're breaking up real bad. Well, we only got 3 minutes left, but I want you to call back tomorrow because when I get with Beverly, we're going to start right in on what we're talking about today. But this is only preliminary because I haven't pulled out all of my film and all of my pictures where I can get things more specific. But it's important to know that the Olmec was over there. I'm telling you, the Olmec were there. You dig? And they had some mirrors up in certain places that a black guy from Minnesota was there. And he told my son and I, he said, there it is right there. It's a huge a picture, mural, not a picture, you know how they paint on the wall. And it showed the Great Wall. They showed Chinese inside the wall, clear, with bow and arrows and what have you. And they showed these horsemen that were attacking the wall, but you couldn't make out their face. And he said they smudged their face because they were black. And the faces were smudged.
Correct. Even the Buddha came from the ancient teachings of the melanin-rich people. That's why they have statues that represented in melanin-rich color.
Yep. So we've been here all the time.
Yep.
I can tell you that right now.
Tomorrow, I'm going to call you tomorrow because I want to talk to you about these 501Cs. I found some very, very, very adept information that's going to blow your mind.
I know it will, brother. All right. I'll get with you. Call me early tomorrow.
I will.
And I'll get back with you.